Sky here, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So I know I have been AWOL for a really long time. I've just been super busy between the two jobs and family and all that. I want to, don't mind that in the background, Miss Miko's investigating boxes. I want to try to slowly get back into YouTube. I don't want to overwhelm myself, so I'm not going to be starting with color alongs quite yet, but I'm hoping to get into that soon, maybe about halfway through the year. So a rough estimate is maybe June we can maybe start to expect one, but again, that is not certain. That's just kind of my goal for now. So one of my biggest things right now is I'm trying to get the art room organized, get everything set up. I noticed that I have notebooks just full of crap everywhere, so I've been trying to compile a lot of the like stuff together. That way I don't have so much stuff taking up so much room, and so it doesn't seem so overwhelming. So I figured just to jump back into YouTube and kind of update you guys at the same time, we would go through my book collection and colored pages. I think we're just going to do it in the same video, so rather than do one video showing off my entire book collection and then separate videos showing off my finished pages, we're just going to do all of them in one. This will hopefully be my last update to books and pages, because from this point on I'm going to try to make sure I am actually keeping track of what pages I've colored. That way I can just do update videos of what I've colored from this month to this month, or even just what I colored in like the whole year, something like that. So as long as I'm keeping track of that a little bit better, that should hopefully be easier. So I do have a lot of coloring books and a lot of finished pages, so I assume this is probably going to be quite a few videos. So I will probably have this going on the same as a color along would, and just kind of have them released every Friday of the month kind of thing. And that should give us a video every week for at least a month, if not a little bit longer. But with that being said, we're going to dive on in. So I'm going to go through these in the order that I got the books, and that's going to help me see which books I haven't recorded that I got, and then I can kind of fill in some blanks here. So we are going to start with Tropical World. So this was my very first coloring book. This is one that Rain bought me from, I want to say it was from Chapters. So I absolutely love this one. There is a lot of colored pages in here. Also, when I first started adult coloring, I just picked up some cheap fine liners from the dollar store, and that's what I had used to start coloring. So yeah, even my first started images were not the best, but I did have fun doing it this way. It was very mindless, but I almost wish that I hadn't, because I colored some of my favorite pages, and now that I'm a little bit more advanced into coloring, it'd be nice to redo them. So maybe I'll pick up this book again in the future, but we'll see. I absolutely adore this page. I think this was done with the Prismacolor Scholars. I love how simple but so pretty this turned out. And then this was done with fine liners and highlighters. This is one of my favorite pages, so I'm kind of sad that I colored that one. As always, the camera's going to shift a little bit because we have cats trying to jump up everywhere. These ones I never really know how to color. They're so beautiful, but I don't know, there's just so many pieces. Okay, and then we've got these pages. This was done with Crayolas. This was, I believe, my very first attempt at trying to color something a little bit more advanced. I think this was around the time that I started joining adult coloring groups on Facebook, and I started getting inspired seeing everybody else's colored pictures, and I was like, oh hey, I want to try that. So I think that was my very first attempt at that. And then we got the Jellyfish, which is another one of my favorite pages, so sad about that. We've got the butterflies. This page was really daunting, so I just took Crayolas and kind of outlined everything, and I like how it turned out. I might add a background eventually, but I'm not really sure what I would do. So for now, I've just kind of left it blank. A couple other pages, kind of practicing blending and layering. This was another one of my early ones that I'm super happy with. I love how this one turned out. I did push the crap out of this page. I can feel all of the indents. It's crazy. I did use Crayolas though, so yeah, pretty happy with that one. You can see how much pressure I used because I colored this one first and then colored the bird, and I got some purple over here. It's faded a little bit over time, which is nice. It was a lot more noticeable before. So we just got some random plants here. The iguana and the frog. I love this frog. I would love to recolor this one. My Peacock, I love this page. I used Prismacolor Scholars for this, and I think this page ate up at least half of all of my greens, but it was so worth it. I love how beautiful this is. And I did just color in the background black and just add a little bit of white for where the peacock's standing to add a little bit of detail in there. I wanted to leave it pretty basic because the peacock itself fills up so much of the page and has so much detail. I didn't want to take away from that. Here is my crab, which I love, but I hate putting white over purples or reds because it just never turns out well. If anybody has found a technique yet to make sure that this doesn't happen or a way to avoid that, let me know. I've done research and so far have found nothing. Okay, this page is my armadillo. So I found a tutorial in the tropical, or the Millie Marotta group, and I seen someone post how to accomplish this kind of paint drip look, so I wanted to try it. I am so sorry, I totally forgot who posted this. I know she had commented on something, I don't know if it was a video or maybe just a work in progress post I put on the group. I tried to find it, but I can't. So if this was your technique that you showed the tutorial to, feel free to let everybody know in the comments because I cannot find it for the life of me. It was so long ago. Usually I like to write notes or like put post-its on pages like this, but I must have totally forgot to put the note back when I finished this page. But anyway, I absolutely love how this turned out. The only thing I wish I wouldn't have done is I accidentally outlined pieces of the armadillo too, which I don't really like. So I'm kind of bummed out that I did that. But this is probably my favorite way to tackle these pages now, so we'll probably see a lot more of those in this book whenever I get free time in the future. So here's my butterfly done with Crayolas. My book's fallen apart. You can tell that it's had it for quite a while. And then the lovebirds in the back, and that's it for this book. So I got that book roughly around 2015, so that's roughly when I started adult coloring. Okay, so next is Color Me Happy, and this was gifted to me by a friend. I adore this book. The illustrations in it are just so cute and whimsical. I love it. And it goes by section, so this is chapter 1. I have everything done in this. I was originally just going through and coloring things in order, and then I kind of started jumping around and using this book for kind of like practicing and stuff. So I think this one's done with Crayolas. I think that one's also Crayolas. I think the majority of these will probably be Crayola, some pastel. Fine liners definitely in there. This one's done with Sharpies and markers. Crayolas, I love this page, it's so cute. And another thing I like to do in this book is play around with color palettes. So if I'm just feeling overwhelmed, I will find a color palette on Google and then I'll choose one of my kind of less intense books and just color a page using the color palette. So love this palette, it was so pretty. And then this one too. This I think was the first page I did testing out my Inktense. So some of these are done with Crayola and some Inktense, I believe. I'm not really sure. Another color palette. And just some practice stuff, seeing the difference between Vaseline, using that and whatnot. This I think I was just kind of testing out new markers that I had gotten. This one I think I started and just never came back to. Not really sure if I was testing anything out or just wanted to color this. I had really high hopes for this page and it just did not turn out the way I wanted it to, so kind of bummed out about that. This one was done for a 3-color challenge, so blue, green, and white. Super cute, love that panda. And then a not so good attempt at another 3-color challenge with brown, purple, and black. Another one that I had really high hopes for, but didn't quite turn out the way that I had intended for it to, but I do like it anyways. This I think was part of a review when I was testing out some brushes. I think that was done with the Inktense pencils. And then I think this one as well was part of a review, also testing out brushes. And also done with Inktense. I actually really like this one. Although I wish I would have done the background a little bit different. And then kind of just had it more like, have it really monochromatic with just like blacks and whites and stuff. It would look really pretty. I can't remember what I used to color this one. I definitely used some Neos in there. But this was just one that I speed colored in the background during a tag video. So that's it for Color Me Happy. Okay, so next is just Add Color Fairyland. This was also from a friend. I don't have a whole lot of colored pages in here. I've mostly just used this for mixed media. It's a super cute book. Lots of cute little designs and stuff. I have colored some stuff. Actually, I think my mom might have colored this one. I can't remember. I do really like this page though. I like how that one turned out. And this one too. So that's pretty much it that I have colored in this one. And then next we have Henna and Mandalas to color. I don't think I've colored anything in these books. I've just let the kids use them because the paper is not very good at all. But Carbon has had fun scribbling in here, and my nieces, when they come over, will usually pick the Henna one and they'll color a few pages in. I think they've ripped most of the pages out that they've colored, so not a whole lot in those ones. Okay, next up I did a haul in February of 2016, so we're about a year into my coloring journey here, and I bought these 3 books. So we'll start with Owls. This one I love. Back when I was using Crayolas though, they did not agree with this paper, so I haven't really colored a whole lot in this book because of that. I've been meaning to go back and try some of my since then acquired pencils in here, but I haven't bothered yet. And I did start this one testing out markers in here, I think, but I don't think I liked it. Doesn't look like it blended very well. So yeah, that's it for this book. Super cute though. I love the images. I just need to figure out what I can actually use in them. So next is Anamorphia. So both Anamorphia and Lost Ocean I took to get spiral bound. Not gonna lie, kind of regretting that. And you'll see why. One thing that I don't like, first off, about them getting spiral bound is I find the pages are so much harder to flip. So this book belongs to Paige. I absolutely love this page. I love how it turned out. The little hummingbirds are so cute, and the little bits of sparkles here and there, and just the color of the background. So I used Prismacolor Scholars to color this page, but the background I used Mark Over Fiends because those are the only pencils I've been able to find this really gorgeous kind of yellowy tan color. But yeah, really happy with this one. This page, when she cut the binding out, she actually ended up cutting it too short on both sides. I don't even know how that happened, but yeah, a little bummed out about that. So there is my colorful zebra. This was done with Prismacolor Scholars, and I just decided to leave the little doodles black and white. So next up is my fox, who I say is finished, but also at the same time I kind of want to add a background, but I love him as is, so I don't want to wreck him. This was done with the Prismacolor Scholars, and this is one of my favorite pages to show how well the Scholars work, because this is just so vibrant. The blending is actually really decent with those pencils, and just really, I just love how the colors pop off of this page. So yeah. So you've got the snakes done in here. I do want to add a background to this, but I've just kind of left it for forever. I think what I'll probably end up doing is just using some brown Neo colors and just kind of making like a muddied up background for the snakes, like they're just kind of rolling around in dirt or something, because I think that's minimal enough that it will still add to the page without taking away. And I always sparkle up the clouds and stuff. Or steam clouds, wisps, I don't really know what those are, but I do like them. And then here is our Galaxy Swordfish. This is probably one of my favorite pages in the book. I think we did this on a live stream, or a series of live streams anyways. He turned out so good. Of course, we have all of those gold clouds completely sparkled up. I just love everything about this. I do remember the background took forever though, but it actually turned out really good. I think that's the last page we have colored in this one. And then next up is Lost Ocean. So This one I have a lot of pages colored in because it's my favorite Johanna Basford book, and it was also my first. So we have the intro page, which used to sparkle, but I don't think it does anymore. I used like a white eyeshadow. Yeah, it looks like it's lost all of its shimmer, unfortunately, but it was really pretty when I'd first put it on there. And then we have these two pages. I'm not sure if I was working with Crayolas or the Scholars. These look like Crayolas, but I could be wrong. Okay, these pages I absolutely butchered. I hate how these turned out. I had this vision in my head and it just did not work out. I don't like the colors. I went with it all and I used this kind of gold shimmery eyeshadow stuff that just did not lay down on the page very well. If I could do this over again, I probably would just do the gold shimmer over everything or just leave it out completely. I'm not really sure. We did do a lot of color alongs in the Lost Ocean group, me and Sabrina from, I think her channel is Sabrina's Twists of Color or something like that. I can't remember. I'll try to remember to link her down in the description box if you guys want to check her out. But yeah, we used to do a lot of buddy colors in the Lost Ocean group, so that's why another reason why I have so many pictures colored in this. So there's these ones. This one I know was done with the Scholars. This one too. They're definitely too vibrant to be Crayola. I've got my turtle square, which I really love this page, but I wish I hadn't have to put pastel on the background because I put it over everything and it just kind of washed everything out a little bit. I was never really able to get the color back, which is really unfortunate. So I got my fish and my jellyfish. These were inspired by someone. I can't remember if it was the color scheme that inspired me or what it was. If I can find the picture, I will try and pop it up here, but it's been such a long time. I colored this back in 2017, so the chances of me finding that are probably pretty slim. But I do love how these turned out. They're not colors that I would normally go with, but I feel like they turned out really good. Here we've got some seahorses. I never did put a background to this one because I wasn't really sure what to do with the background, and I really like this page, so I didn't want to mess it up. I think if I could change one thing about this page, it would be these flowers. I don't know why. Red and yellow are just not my favorite colors ever to use. They're just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. They just seem to draw your eye too much, and I don't like that. I mean, obviously it wouldn't draw your attention if there was more red and yellow to the page, but I don't know, they don't work for me. But love everything else, and I'm really glad that I decided to keep the details in the horse's gray because it's so pretty. And then we've got these two pages. So not very happy with this ship. It didn't turn out very good, but it's not the worst, so I'm okay with that. And then this page, I wanted to kind of keep it completely pirate flag like, so I just decided to color the background black. I colored all of the details in kind of grayscale and then went through and colored in all of the other bits black, which was a pain, but it was so worth it. And then I did put quite a bit of silver touches in there, but it's kind of lost its silver a little bit. Next we have this page, which I absolutely love. This turned out so good. If I could change anything about this page, though, it would be the color scheme for the shells and the rocks. Just not really a huge fan of those, but I feel like it's okay other than that. And then the little dome down there is sparkly. I can't remember what I used for the background. I think I actually used acrylic paint and then went over and penciled in some shadows, I think is what I did. We've got these sharks that turned out terrible. I like the sharks themselves. The background, though, did not turn out the way I wanted it to. I did go through the book and color in all of the hidden objects the same, so that's why you'll see some pages that have some stuff colored in, but they're not really started yet. So we've got this fish circle here. I absolutely love this. I feel like this one turned out really good. Really happy with it. The only thing I would do different is this color here I absolutely love, so I wish I would have done that on the inside here so that way it would have matched, because I just feel like this doesn't really go with anything else around the page, but I like it. I think it looks pretty anyways. And this is the page that actually started the channel. So This page I posted in the Lost Ocean group and I had such a huge, overwhelming response. So I had a lot of people asking me if I could show how I did this. So I decided to record a video and I put it up on my YouTube, and it was a channel that I had started a long time ago with gaming videos and stuff, just between friends, so nothing like too crazy or anything. I did end up deleting those videos after my YouTube blew up, but I put this one up in, it probably would have been about 2016, and then I didn't start getting into YouTube, I think like a year and a half later. And by then I already had quite a number of subscribers just based off of this picture alone. Unfortunately, since I had already colored this, the tutorial that I did wasn't this page specifically, which is kind of unfortunate, but hopefully it was helpful anyways. And the shells were actually colored with Crayolas, so I'm actually really happy with how that turned out. So Crayolas for the shells, and then I think I did pastels for the water and the sand. I'm not sure which ones though. I can't remember what pastels I had at that time. This page is just a mess. I don't really have much to say about this one. Again, reds and yellows and grays. And then bubble background I'm okay with, but again, I always hate how doing pastel backgrounds over the colored pencil washes it out so much. Not a fan of that. And since this is just a hot pastel mess, I just kind of keep paper here always. I never take that out. This was my absolute favorite page in the book, so I was very hesitant to start this page, but of course Sabrina wanted to do it as a color along, or a buddy color, one of the two, so I did it. And I always had a very specific way that I wanted to color this page, and I feel like it actually turned out really well, so I'm happy with this. It's definitely still probably my favorite page in the book. And then we've got this one here. I usually don't like the wallpaper images, but I definitely find using a limited color palette to them just, I don't know, it seems so much better, and I absolutely love how this one turned out. I love pink and green together, and then I did put gold sparkle on the pink fish, which I feel like just makes them pop so much more. So this is actually another one of my favorite colored pages in the book. Then we have these guys. I don't think this was a color along. I think I colored these ones on my own, but I could be wrong. At this point I've put out so many videos, I'm not even really sure. But I don't think I did color alongs from a lot of these books. Maybe a stream, I'm not sure. But anyways, the little bubbles in the middle, they're glass or bubbles, I'm not sure which, but I made them sparkly anyways. And then we have these two pages. Again, I don't have a whole lot to say. This one I really liked until I put the pastel in the background. I'm not really a fan of that. I know exactly how I would have done the background now if I could redo this one, and that would have just been to extend the colored pencil out and kind of fade it out and just like add little circles to it, because I really like doing that, especially on pages where you want a little bit of a background but not have it overwhelming and still have lots of white space. So that would have been cool. This we have the whale, and then I decided to put in Nemo and Dory, and I mean, it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. It did not go the way I wanted it to. And then the last page we have in here is the mermaids at the end, and I decided to color these as Ariel and Melody. And I did pick out just a couple scales on each of their tails to kind of have glittery. And yeah, that's it for Lost Ocean. Okay, so next were Splash of Color and Flying Colors. These were two that I got at my local drugstore, and again, I pretty much got these just for doing mixed media and stuff, so I don't have a whole lot of colored pages in them. This one, I know I have a couple though. So this is the page that I used for that tutorial from that page in Lost Ocean. This is the one that I had used. And then this page here, I actually really love this. I use the Prismacolor Scholars for this page, and they just show up so vibrantly on this paper. Just absolutely beautiful. And then Flying Colors, I think I only ever colored one in this book. Yeah, so just the hummingbird, and I can't remember. I think I used the Staedtler triangle pencils. I don't remember what they were called. I think I've long since got rid of them. I was not a fan, but yeah. So that's it for those ones. And then let's see, in 2016, I added 2 books to my collection. So I bought these off of Amazon. So 2016 is when I started my Hannah Lynn journey. So of course we're going to save Hannah's book for last. So this aquarium fish one, I literally got this book because I watched a flip through of it and I liked the way the paper sounded. It's like that vellum, I don't know if I'm saying that right, vellum paper. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I've colored 1 page in here. This I will probably just end up giving to Carbon because I just haven't really touched it since, but super cute. And then Hannah Lynn. So Mermaids, Fairies, and Other Girls of Whimsy was the first book I bought. Yeah, this was the first book I bought. So I bought this on February 22nd, and then I got Enchanted Faces on March 2nd. So relatively close. I thought I got Enchanted Faces first, but no, I'm wrong. So I did take this book apart, which I'm kind of sad about. And then I had already colored quite a few pages in here. So my plan is to color everything, do a full flip through of all the pages I've colored, have its own video. Like once I finish a book, I plan to just do a video of flipping through it, and then I will go and get it spiral bound and pray to God that they don't kill any of my pages, because I will probably die. There's so many hours put into this. So yeah, this is the way that I've been keeping track. So anything, I don't know if this is updated, but anything that is highlighted, I have colored. So I'm close to finishing it. There's a few more pages left, and I'm just gonna set this off to the side. I think I remember all of the names, but just in case. So this was Kathleen. I actually started this for a Disney character challenge in the Hannah Lynn group, and I can't quite remember if I was going for Ursula or Yzma, one of the two, but I had the tail colored and that was it. And then it just kind of sat on my shelf for forever. So the one night I finally just kind of pulled it out and started coloring it while binge watching Netflix, and I finished the rest of it in that sitting. I love how it turned out. I was just on a roll, and I'm glad that I decided to stick to it and finish it, because it probably wouldn't have turned out the same had I not. But yeah, really happy with this one. I think I used Neil colors for sure for the water, and then Derwent ink tints with pencil over top. This was done for a 4-season challenge in the Hannah Lynn group. I adore this page. This is definitely one of my favorites. The only thing that I don't like is her eyelashes. I had messed up on them and they look so terrible. So bad. They're so thick and bushy. Oh my god. It looks like she has caterpillars on her eyes, and I don't like that at all. And then I also wish that I hadn't put the sparkly nail polish over the winter part, but it's not bad. It just, I should have sparkled something over here to kind of balance the page, so not really a fan of that. But anyways, we have spring and then summer, fall, and winter. Love this. I definitely want to try this again, actually. And be careful of her eyebrows. Not with this page exactly, but this page did work out really well for that. So that was Glacier Lily Fairy. This is Ballet Girl. This one was done with Margot Ruffins. I kept it really simple, but I really like this one. Next up is Bella's Sea Monkeys, and let's see, this one looks like, I think this one I actually had my premieres for. I could be wrong. This is either Prismacolors or Prisma Premieres, but I did use Crayola for her skin because I did had a color tanned skin tutorial with her, I believe. And her tail and little flower in her hair is all sparkly. Next up is Willow. I really like this one. I had a vision on how I wanted her to be, and she matched pretty close. The only thing I don't like is her makeup. It definitely didn't blend into the green as much as I needed it to. I think I burnished the page too much before trying to put the makeup on, and then I actually warped the page trying to fix it, but eventually I just kind of left it as is. But I really like how she turned out, and I love the little glittery accents on her. So this one was done with Prismacolor primers for the skin and then Inktense for the background. I think this one, yeah, this one's Little Miss Delish. Really happy with how this one turned out. This one totally gives me Lisa Frank vibes, so I wanted to color her super colorful and just lots of pops of color in there. Crazy background, super cute. I used really cheap watercolors for the background, which I actually like. I feel like it turned out pretty good. And then I did this like fake sparkle on her dress. I think this was one of the first times I ever attempted doing that, where you just take fine liners and put little dots to make it appear sparkly, but it's really not. So I like that page. This is Showtime. This is one of my favorite pages. I love how this one turned out. I think I'd probably change the clouds if I could, but I feel like they're not too bad. Her eyelashes just turned out perfectly. I was really worried about putting in bottom lashes, but I feel like they turned out really well, especially since she is a performer, so she can have really dramatic eyelashes and it's not going to look weird. And then I was using nail polish at the time to put just little bits of sparkle throughout her hair, so I like that. This one's Nellie. I was going for kind of like a goth vibe for her, so I feel like she turned out really good. I think I used primers for her as well. I love how bright the colors are. Oh, I definitely based this, so I probably based this with markers and then went over with colored pencil. This one is Birthday Girl. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I did add the zebra print to the balloons. I believe those were blank before, just to kind of match her dress. I believe these were there. I can't remember. Some of the pictures I've edited, so don't really remember exactly, but I do love how this one turned out. I'm actually really happy with the spheres in the background. I feel like it kind of adds to the page without being too crazy. So that one was super fun to color. Here we have Vixie, and she was a color along for 1 October. I can't remember. Would have been in 2018, I would imagine. Really like how this one turned out. I love the kitty's fur, super cute. Again though, with the white over red, it just does not go well. It bleeds too much and it drives me crazy. This one I think is Vera, I'm not sure. I don't know what I colored her with. It's either Crayolas or Marco Raffines. And then I tried to do a like a galaxy background with like blobs and stuff, but it did not turn out very well, but she's all right. At least she's done. Here we have Misty Morning. I believe this one was a color along. I can't quite remember. This is another one of my favorite pages. Just the illustration itself is so beautiful. And then I love pages where you can kind of put like a translucent layer underwater, so that way you can tell they're underwater, but you can still see the details and stuff. The fog turned out not too bad. So yeah, really happy with this one. Tree of Secrets. This one was done for a challenge in the Hannah Lynn group before I took over the group. Unfortunately, it did not qualify, which was kind of a bummer. It was a focal point challenge. But yeah, it was still fun to do anyways. I love coloring in grayscale. I don't know why. It's so soothing. And then this one is Chelsea. So this one was done with the premiers. I did that fake little glitter thing on her tail and stuff. I do really like this one. There's just a lot of colors, and her skin did not turn out the best. I think I actually might have used Scholars for the skin because those don't look like the premiers, so I'm not really sure, but I do really like that one. Next we have Snow White. I love this page. I like everything about this. I feel like it turned out really well. Her hair was super simple. All I did was color all of her hair blue, and then I went in with a white Posca and just put little strands of hair everywhere, and that turned out so well. I decided to put a small layer of snow kind of all along the grass and stuff, and then sunrise in the background with the little castle and the gnomes, or the dwarves. Gnomes, the dwarves in the background. Super cute. And then I did glitter up the butterflies. Thinking about it, I should have glittered up the flowers in her hair too. Okay, this is Michelle and Jojo. This is actually one of my favorite pages. I did this with the Marco Ruffines. It's kind of got a really sketchy vibe to it, but I really like that. I think, surprisingly enough, my favorite things about this page is the rocks. I like the grass kind of going into the cobble and all that. And then the sky, which I used really cheap watercolors on, but I think it turned out really good. Okay, Library Fairy is next. So I did use pastel for this, for the background, and then I went over with Marco Ruffines to kind of give it a little bit of a more aged edge to it. I love that kind of aged parchment paper look, so anything with writing like this, that's what I usually go for. And then I did color her with the ink tints. And her skin, I think, would be the Scholars. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I do really like how she turned out. She's one of my favorites. And then we have Runaway Princess. This one was either a color along or a live stream. I started kind of tackling the busiest pages in this book because I'm trying to get this one finished. So just trying to get these done, and the busy ones are definitely the most like overwhelming. They just kind of like seem to loom, and it's like, oh, I'm never gonna get this finished. But yeah, this one was fun. We used Marco Ruffines for this one, I think. I do really like the water in the background though, and then the cherry blossoms, those are cute. Okay, here's Berry Branches. I was gonna leave this one and just wait until I got skin tones down, but I decided to tackle it anyways. And I do really like the overall look of the picture, but her skin tone just doesn't match how I wanted it to. I feel like this is more, looks more Native American than Japanese. Anything but white skin tones I suck at. I just feel like any darker than a white skin tone, yeah, have a bigger chance of making mistakes and not being able to fix them. And I feel like they're way more complex. Like white skin tones are so easy to do. I literally have the same colors that I always go with. But with darker skin tones, you always have those undertones and those shadows of those really pretty colors that you're afraid to add because you can't take it away after you put it in. So I definitely need more practice with that. Okay, this one is Bookworm Fairy. Not really a fan of her, to be honest. I don't think I would have minded her if I hadn't have done her wings in such crazy colors, but she is cute. Red Riding Hood, I adore this one. I love all the neutral and muted tones, super cute. I'm really glad that I decided to go with a non-traditional version of Red Riding Hood, and I just feel like all of this worked out so well together. I think the only thing I should have done was been a little bit more confident in the fog and added more of it, because I think it would have added a lot more to the page, but it's not bad. Yeah, this was a non-dominant hand challenge because Danny, one of the admins in the Henna group, her friend ended up, I think she cut herself or something, and she could only color with her non-dominant hand. So we decided to have a challenge where everybody colored with their non-dominant hand, and this was mine. I feel like she turned out not too bad considering. I don't know if I did the background with my non-dominant hand. I honestly can't remember. But she's not too bad. I like her. There's a lot of glitter on this page too. I don't know if it's going to show up though because it's pretty old. This one is Maxine, and she was my Avatar inspired mermaid. I really like how she turned out. And then I did kind of glitter up the little blue scaly parts of her. Really like this page. This is Annabelle and Jax, I think. Yeah, Annabelle and Jax. This is one of my favorite pages, as those of you who got the Best of Hannah Lynn Kickstarter book probably knows, because it's the one that I submitted for the back cover art of the book. So it was between this one or Black Widow from Tattoo Darlings. Those were probably my top two Hannah Lynn's. But I put a post on Facebook and in the groups to see what everybody thought, and I think the hair on this one won everybody over. She just has such beautiful hair. It's so princessy and just gorgeous. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. The only thing I wasn't happy about was the background, so I just kind of colored it all in black, and I felt like that was a little bit too dark. But I feel like it actually kind of worked out because I think it keeps her the main focal point. So I think I used Marco Raffines for her dress for sure, because that's that color that I absolutely love, that only the Marco Raffines have, that I've been able to find. And then the rest I think was done with either the Scholars or the Premiers. Neptune and Triton, I love this page. This is definitely another one of my top faves. I think everything about this page turned out really well. This was done with the Inktense. I love all the colors and just how well everything goes together. I did do her skin in the Premiers though. And then we have lots of little gold accents here and there. So yeah, definitely one of my faves. So, okay, this is Alicia and Aliana. Another just really cluttered, busy page that I wanted to finish, but I am really happy with how it turned out. And I did use Marco Raffines for this one. Here is Lisa and Jaden. I believe this was a color along. Can't quite remember. Love everything about this one except for the clouds. They turned out not very good. I don't know if I just rushed them or if those colors just really don't go well together, but yeah, not a fan there. This is Peyton. This was one of my first pages I colored when I got the book, so this was done in Crayolas. Runaway Princess is another busy page that I worked on completing. I used the Inktense. I usually use those on most of the busy pages because they're a lot easier to use. I kept this one really minimal, so not a whole lot of shading, just lots of different colors. I definitely kept the trees and her as kind of the main focal point. And then lots of little golds, and the water is shimmery. I'm actually really happy with how this one turned out, even though I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it, but it turned out pretty good. Then we have Aussie Girl Chloe, and I believe this one was a color along, mainly because you guys wanted to see how I did the hair on Annabelle and Jax. Yeah, Annabelle and Jax. So we did this one as a color along so I could show you guys how to do that. So again, I love her hair too. I just love that messy look. It's definitely one of my favorite hairstyles. So this one turned out really good. I absolutely love the sky. I feel like everything turned out pretty good, and this was one of my favorite pages, so I'm glad it turned out good. And then we've just got a little bit of glitter on the little plants and the flowers in her hair. And then we did go over the clouds with gold watercolor paint. So that one's super pretty. I like that. This one's Angie and Oliver. This was another one done in Inktense. And I did this entire thing in Inktense, even her skin. So I was really happy to be able to get a somewhat smooth layout with that, because anybody who uses Inktense, you know, you don't really have a lot of control with it, and it dries pretty quick, especially on this paper. So yeah, I was really happy with that. This one is Melissa. I really like this page just on the simple fact that she reminded me of Pocahontas, so I actually did her for a Disney challenge. So I did her up as Pocahontas, and then I did actually use some textured snow on the snow in the background, which surprisingly doesn't really make the page much heavier than it was originally, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, nothing too special. This was pretty basic, but it's still one of my favorites. Right, and then next up we have Lady Liberty. So this one was fun. Just went kind of crazy in the background with glitter and fireworks. Colored her with Prismacolor Premiers, and that's pretty much it. Her skin is not the best. This definitely was back when I was still learning. I'm not sure. I think for some reason, even though I had the Premiers, I was still doing skin with the Scholars, which is kind of strange, but Alright, and then last but not least, we have Whimsical Winter. I really like this one. I think my favorite thing about this is the snow. I've always had a lot of trouble coloring snow, and I didn't want to just leave this white, so I've got a lot of really pretty colors in the snow that can kind of be based off of the sunrise or sunset, whatever that is. And I feel like that kind of goes super well, and it really makes her the main focal point because she's got all of these orange around her. Her dress kind of matches a little bit, but it still stands out. It's really bold. And she just looks so elegant. I love that. So that is it for the first part. So I think we only got through 10 books, but I knew for a while that this one would take up a lot of time because, for one, I could talk about Hannah's work all day, and two, I have a lot of colored pages in this book. So that's going to be it for part 1. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you guys in part 2. As always, guys, thanks and take care. Bye!